So my hair is always doing some hinky haga on the side of my head. Like, what's going on?
Oh gosh.
Pretty young girl from Zambia. You know that she ain't with the drama. Light skinned girl Osama. You know she the bomb, she cause trauma.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name's NYEMBS, and currently I'm doing a natural hair series on my channel which I'd like you to be a part of, so don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So for today's video, I am bringing to you 10 tips to growing your natural hair. These are just tips that have worked for me, tips that I've learned along the way, and yeah, a natural hair journey is a journey. It's never a final destination. So these tips are just gonna hopefully help you out as well. And yeah, and I was so close to not filming this today, you guys. I have such a bad breakout. I literally feel like this, but yeah. Oh well, whatever, it's fine. We're just gonna go on with it. So yeah, don't forget to thumbs it up, share it with somebody who might find it helpful, and of course subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell button next to the subscribe button so that you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's just get right into the video. Okay, so tip number 1 is using no or minimal heat on my hair. I literally only blow dry my hair twice a year, maybe 3 times if I'm pushing it, but I want to say like twice a year, and I straighten my hair only once a year. But this year I'm trying to go the entire year without straightening my hair because heat just damages your hair. I mean, it's not bad if you don't straighten or don't use heat on your hair all the time, but when you constantly use heat on your hair, you guys, you're just breaking off your hair, literally just breaking off and frying your hair. Like, heat is the #1 thing that you must avoid at all costs. And later on in this series, I'm hopefully gonna do a no heat blowout for you guys, so you have at least an alternative to using heat when you want to blow your hair out, or quote unquote blow your hair out, or prepare it to be braided or something like that. Heat is just, oh my goodness, you guys, don't fry your hair, please. And if you decide to use heat on it, which I'm sure not everyone's hair reacts the same to it, just make sure you use a heat protectant so that you don't risk your hair getting heat damaged and all that jazz. So yeah, stay away from heat. That's definitely a major key. The second thing is low manipulation to your hair. So no unnecessary combing, brushing, touching, etc. Basically, our hair constantly grows out of our scalp, constantly, but what makes you think your hair isn't growing is that you're not retaining the length. Like, you're not literally retaining your ends, basically, because your ends are what break off. So when your ends aren't breaking off is when you see your hair grow, but technically it's always growing from your scalp, you know? So yeah, don't unnecessarily comb it, brush it, all that. Like, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't break your ends, basically. Your fingers are your best friend, but don't overdo it as well, because the more you touch your hair, the more fragile you make it, and then your ends just break off. Tip number 3 is protective styling. By protective styling, it doesn't always mean braids and weaves. It can be braids, weaves, wigs, puffs, buns, I don't know, cornrows, you name it. Just by protective styling, you're not having to touch your hair as much. So for me, like, when I put my hair in a puff, it stays in a puff for like a week or so usually, because yeah, that also goes back to the low manipulation. When you're not manipulating your hair as much, you're able to retain length. So by having it tucked under a wig or something, you're not having to constantly touch it, therefore your ends aren't breaking off. So yeah, just protective style. It can be anything. It just usually means tucking your ends away or not touching your hair as much. So find a style that works for you. There's so many out there. Tip number 4 is moisturizing and sealing your hair. And if you haven't watched my previous video on how to achieve maximum moisturization for your type 4 hair, I highly recommend that you check it out because our hair needs constant moisture. Our hair is super coiled, that the natural oils that are produced by the scalp don't actually travel all the way down the hair shaft because of all the coils. So we need to physically put moisture on and put moisture into our hair and make sure we seal that with an oil to keep it all in there. So yeah, I will have the video up here in the cards and down in the description box just so that you guys can check that out. And yeah, moisturized hair is a major key. Tip number 5 is wearing a satin bonnet to sleep as opposed to wearing a cotton, I don't want to say cotton bonnet or cotton material on your hair. Basically, don't go to bed in a bandana because a bandana is cotton and all a bandana does is suck out the moisture from your hair or any other cotton something. So I highly recommend getting a satin scarf or a satin pillowcase, a satin bonnet, because then your hair is not gonna break off. Tip number 6 is to make sure you shampoo your hair. Now some naturals don't believe in shampoo because it
strips your hair
and all they want to do is co-wash your hair. No, no, no. Shampooing your hair is super essential because there's no way products that you put into your hair are gonna really nourish your hair and penetrate through the hair shaft without your hair being clean. It's just like putting product on top of product on top of product. Co-washing is good for just putting moisture back into your hair and like preparing it for a new style like I showed you in my previous video, but shampooing is a major key. I personally shampoo once every 2 weeks. Sometimes I even stretch it to 3 weeks, just depends on the state of my hair. But yeah, for me, once every 2 weeks works perfectly fine. You do what works for you, but yeah, make sure you shampoo your hair. Tip number 7, deep conditioning. You have to deep condition. And I know some people say deep conditioning makes their hair limp or I don't know what, but deep conditioning works for, I want to say, most naturals. It's just a thing, it works for most naturals, and that just also makes sure you retain as much moisture as possible. And deep conditioning, especially when I just began my proper like natural hair journey, is what really made my hair super manageable. It would just be so soft, so manageable, smells so good. Just deep condition. Listen to me, just deep condition. And I have a couple favorite deep conditioners. The first one that I've been using this year, as well as I want to say the end of 2018 into 2019, is the Shea Moisture Jamaican Black Castor Oil Strength and Restore Treatment Mask, and it just looks like so. Yeah, I'll put like a close-up obviously, and you guys, it smells so good. It literally smells so bomb and it works wonders on my hair, so I love this one. And I usually do a DIY mayo mask, which is literally just using the mayonnaise in your kitchen and make a mask. And there's so many YouTube videos on how to do that, and you can go on Pinterest and just type in DIY hair masks or on YouTube. So yeah, they'll show you how to do that. And there's this other one that comes in a sachet like this. It's by the company All Nature. Yeah, and it's actually a Spanish brand, and you can find these in Lusaka because my big sister Imale sells them. And basically you mix sachet A, sachet B, it creates like this mousse that you just like apply onto your hair and leave it to sit for as long as you want. So yeah, this stuff works wonders. I highly recommend. I'll leave her details in the description box. Her Instagram, I think, is at StashAndMay19. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it, but yeah, it's at StashAndMay19, and she basically supplies these products in Zambia, so you should definitely hit her up if you want to try them. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Tip number 8 is to oil your scalp. And some people are afraid of oiling their scalp because they're afraid of buildup and stuff, but that just, I don't know, like, you kind of need to do it because a dry scalp will just give you dandruff and it's just not cute. And oil your scalp because then you're stimulating your hair growth as well as you oil it and massage it as well. So I just highly recommend oiling your scalp as often as you can. I recommend like once every, I want to say 4 days to a week. It literally all depends on your hair type, what your scalp likes, but yeah, oil your scalp. I personally use tea tree oil on my scalp, or now with the Natural Fusions hair oil, it's been working great, so yeah. Tip number 9 is to trim your ends. Basically, even ends equals even distribution of products that you put on your hair. So when they're evenly distributed, they're able to then help your hair retain that length once again. Like, just keep in mind, retain length, because I'm gonna say it a lot. Or I have said it a lot. But yeah, basically just trim your ends as often as you like. I don't recommend any time frame. You just see when your ends aren't looking good, when they're just looking crusty, you have split ends, you have, I don't know, just uneven, higgy haga, not cute ends. Trim them, or if you don't want to proper trim them, just dust them. And by dusting, it's just like literally just taking little bits off. It's not like trimming like a chunk of hair. So yeah. And the final tip I have is to just be patient because at the end of the day, hair growth comes down to your genes, to, I don't know, what you do to your hair, the products you use, but at the end of the day, everyone's hair grows at a different rate. And like I said, genes are a major key because yeah, like in my family, we generally have like quite lengthy hair, so it's normal that my hair grows at the rate that it does. But for some time, I thought it wasn't growing, which it was. I just wasn't retaining length. But I can say that if you follow the tips I've given you, you'll definitely see improvement with your hair. So yeah, that's about it. Okay guys, so we have come to the end of this video. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things, and I want y'all to drop down in the comments some of your hair growth tips. I can use them and others can use them, so yeah, we're here to help each other out. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to thumbs this video up, share it with somebody who will find it useful. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell button next to the subscribe button and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, so tip number, sis.